Thanksgiving week is here, folks. Happy early holiday to all of you who are traveling, because I think Monday is one of the busiest travel days in the history of the United States. So yeah, it's going to be busy for a lot of people out there. This week is very chaotic because we have all of that going on. We have multiple games on Thursday, so we're going to preface that by saying set all your lineups. Make sure you are prepared if you have time, because you don't want to get stuck Thursday waking up late on the West Coast and realizing, oh, there's games playing, and I have not set my lineup. So that is why we're here. We're doing the Waiver Wire show bright and early, midday Monday. I'm with myself, Justin Muller, with Jeremy. How you doing today, Jeremy?
Yeah, I'm good. I think it's Tuesday, though. Is it Tuesday?
Yeah, dude, that's the, right now, that's where my headspace is. I don't know what day it is anymore. Yeah, it's Tuesday. Yeah, I should know this because I normally have 2 days off, but it's just, I'm all over the place.
Listen,
I'm on no sleep.
we are grinding it. We are grinding in the fantasy streets. We are grinding in the reality streets. I got my dog in a cone this morning at the vet. Got a big old cone on his head. I feel like that scene in Dumb and Dumber where he's going, we got no food, we got no jobs, our pets' heads are falling off. It's just, it's chaotic here in week 13, but we press on. 2 more weeks before you punch your ticket to the playoffs. So we are here rolling with the Waiver Wire show.
Yes, and for those of you that advanced in Scott Fishbowl, like the two of us, humble brag here. Congrats on making it to the top 1,500. We will keep trying to keep this popsicle stand going. We don't know how long it's going to go, but we're going to enjoy this ride while it lasts, folks.
Yes, sir.
Let's jump forward and kind of talk about our running backs. And I think the running backs are very interesting because we have a lot of injuries, particularly with Washington and Vegas in those two backfields, because McNichols is likely the starter. You have Austin Eckler concussion protocol. He's likely out. Brian Robinson's dealing with an ankle injury. He was limited that week. He's expected to miss time.
Yep.
For Vegas, it's the same situation. Madison was out. You have Zamir White was also out. So it was basically Amir Abdullah's backfield, and he basically dominated touches in this game. Siski McCormick, I think, got 5 touches overall. But it was Amir Abdullah being the bell cow, which is a wild thing to say in 2024. The fact that Amir Abdullah, a small passing down back, was a bell cow in any game in the NFL. So I think that's the Amir Abdullah is the medium tier guy. Jeremy McNichols is a short tier guy. If you had to choose between one of those guys, based on their matchups, who would you target between the two of those guys?
I really like what Amir Abdullah did last week. We have to see if both running backs are going to sit for Las Vegas. The thing is against Kansas City, we know they're a lockdown, right? We love Amir Abdullah's pass catching ability, and I think that's going to be what propels him. But from a volume standpoint, we're not sold on his volume against Kansas City. I mean, Chuba looked great, but Chuba's looked great all season. So I'm not going to put that on Amir Abdullah. That said, McNichols against Tennessee, I have him back-to-back in my rankings, 39 and 40. So those guys are super interesting. But, who would you rather play? Those two guys or Jonathan Brooks against Tampa Bay? Maybe it's the Chuba Hubbard show, but maybe Brooks gets integrated against a bad defense. And I think they wisely held him back against Kansas City. Why kind of throw him to the wolves in his first game, give him a much easier matchup? So I think that's an interesting discussion between those three guys.
Yeah, I think it's like you don't have to convince me to play Jonathan Brooks. I love Jonathan Brooks, so it's what it is with him. But welcome in, Jamie. Thanks for joining us. We're going through the running backs right now, talking about them. Yeah, I think the safest guy is Abdullah because his role is the most secure. McNichols we're projecting a little bit because we haven't seen him fully dominate all the touches, but these yards per carry is over 4. They're very similar players. Both are plus receivers. They could do all of that stuff. So it really comes down to how much you value the Kansas City matchup, or if you want to fade that and go with the Washington game, I'd be fine doing that. I would rather play those two guys because I know they're going to be volume. Obviously, Brian Robinson could still play, so that's the one kind of caveat on this whole thing. And then the last guys I kind of want to talk about too is the Chargers backfield, because Dobbins, I'm not 100% sure, but it looks like he's going to miss a couple games, possibly. So if those guys are thrown into the mix for you as well, would you want to go with like Gus Edwards, maybe Hassan Haskins, or, the dart throw of them all, Kamani Vidal, and see how it goes? Because, I had to throw in a shot at Kamani Vidal when I could.
I don't mind Kamani Vidal because he's probably free. And I think that's what you want to go after. I don't want to pay up for Gus Edwards, but I got to be honest, the Gus Edwards that we're seeing right now is surprisingly spry looking. although it's not really translating to fantasy points. A couple weeks ago, he went 10 for 55 against Tennessee. Against Cincinnati and Baltimore last week, he didn't really get the touches, but he did get in the end zone. That's kind of what you're looking for. If the touches increase, maybe his role increases, but I think the Chargers need to do the smart thing here, and they need to spread the ball around in the running game. We do not want Gus Edwards going down with injury when we have J.K. Dobbins going down with injury already, as we're planning on heading into the playoffs. So, yeah, I'm going with I'll go with Gus, but I'll pick up Vidal as a speculative ad for nothing.
Yeah, because like you saw the Baltimore matchup and how hard it is for running backs to get there. Like Edwards had 9 carries, 11 yards. Like that's what it is against Baltimore. He was saved by the touchdown, the garbage time touchdown, which tilted some fantasy matchups. I know there's a couple people that started Edwards like last minute miracle, and you got the touchdown, kind of saved the day. With the matchup against Atlanta, it's a much easier matchup. So yeah, you could do the Gus Edwards thing, but with Gus Edwards, you're always counting on a touchdown. So it's all like matchup dependent. If you really just need an RB2 that you can kind of plug and play, I'm fine doing Edwards. I would personally chase the other backfields in Washington or Vegas because like I'm just a volume and skin guy. So that's where I'm going to go with those. And yes, Jamie, he was a healthy scratch. We're expecting if J.K. Dobbins is out, Kamon Vidal is going to be active because they just don't have any other running backs on that roster. Like they'd have to pick someone up from practice squad. They could elevate him. They could do that with, I'm blanking on his name. There's a practice squad, the guy they've had who's been on the active roster this year. He's been up and down. Who we talked about, but I'm blanking on completely. To pivot quickly before we decide on this, the Denver backfield. This is an interesting question from Jason. Are you willing to drop Javonte Williams for the Cardinals defense to stream in the playoffs? Because I'm personally fine dropping Javonte Williams. I don't know if there's ever a case this season like where you're going to confidently start him. Like that's the hard part with him. So like if I don't think I can start him, then I'm fine just dropping him. But do you think there's a case that you could start Javonte Williams through the rest of the season at all?
Probably not. I mean, it's so damn sad. I mean, look, the thing is Bo Nix is out there slinging it. You know, they got a bunch of different backs. Vele is an option, which is crazy to think about. So, yeah, I think the one thing I'd hang my hat on with Javonte or whoever the hell is getting the ball in the backfield, McLaughlin this week, is, you know, after their week 14 bye, it's Indy, the Chargers, not great, and Cincy. So Indy and Cincy there, 2 weeks in the fantasy playoffs, if you make it that far, is really sweet. That said, yeah, we just don't know if he's going to be the guy. It's too boom bust. I would probably go after Gus Edwards for the couple weeks. I mean, you can't use Javonte against Cleveland next week. And you can't use him in the bye in week 14. So, yeah, he's probably droppable. Am I going after a defense right now? No. I'll go after Gus and just if the J.K. Dobbins stuff materializes into a much longer absence or they want to hold him back because they win another couple games and they're feeling good about the playoffs, they want to make sure he's fully healthy, Gus becomes the guy. And then you have, you know, I don't know if you have a trade deadline, you have at least trade bait or at least options here going into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think Tank Bigsby that he mentions is a little interesting because their schedule, like the rest of the season, is Houston, Tennessee, the Jets, Vegas, and then Tennessee again. All those teams are games that they could potentially win, so you could see yourself having him getting double-digit carries. But similar to Javonte, the floor is basically 0, so it's very risk-reward with those guys. This is also the Gus Edwards corollary. It's just, you know, the offense is better with the Chargers. Like, that's the whole thing that they're going to be in games. Obviously, against teams like Baltimore, it's a different discussion because Baltimore is one of the best teams in the NFL. When they're in matchups against teams who are not playing the best teams in the NFL, like, they'll have a chance to play them. So it really depends what you're looking for here. But with your running back room, you have Kamara, you have Brees, you have Tracy, you have Bucky, you have Dowdle, all these guys. I don't know, like, picking up any of these guys, you're basically picking them up for injury replacement because I don't think you're starting them ever. Like, you're going to start Brees, you're going to start Kamara, right? And then you're definitely going to start Bucky. Those are your big three. Heck, you could do Dowdle this week. You could talk yourself into Tracy this week over those guys. So really, you're just picking up a guy for injury replacement is what it looks like. And I don't mind doing that if you want to do that, Jason. But I'm not, like, with this roster, I would more look to fill maybe if you need a tight end or maybe you need a wide receiver that kind of takes a spot for you. I think that makes a little bit more sense just because these guys are strict injury replacements. So if you want to stash them for that reason, sure, go for it. But they're more than likely not going to be in your lineup.
And here's the other thing about the Cards D. I know they're great in reality, but we want that to translate to fantasy points. It has the last 3 weeks consistently. But those 3 weeks were Chicago, the New York Jets and Seattle. What do they all have in common? Really, really, really bad offensive lines. Just the pressure rate is ridiculous. They play Minnesota. We know that Cam Robinson is now out. I assume he's going to be out this week, replacing Darisaw, who's out. So you can pressure Sam Darnold. They get Seattle again, New England, Carolina. So the schedule does line up nicely, but these defenses are too boom bust. I'd rather get a guy who could boom for me for the rest of the season. I think that guy is Gus or Tank. Pick your poison.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't mind like Carolina later in the year you're talking about, because it's New England week 15 and the week 16 is Carolina. And I know Carolina seems like they're making strides, but it's still Carolina. Like they're going to be an offense you're going to target each and every week, right? Against a competent defense.
Okay.
So we'll see with these games that'll likely be lowering. So I don't mind stashing them, but like I think you could probably just play it week by week, and there will be different like defenses that'll likely be in that same way for you. So yeah, this is a long-winded way of me saying like, yeah, I'd still go after the running backs, not knowing who the wide receivers or tight ends are on your team. I think that's just more valuable in the defense. This is this is our week 13 show, man. We're with Thanksgiving coming, we are going to be dropping our ranking shows really soon this week. So we're going to jump into this really quickly and do that. So we're having that come out. I don't know if we're doing anything on Thanksgiving Day or not, but yeah, we're going to push stuff content all week. So if you're with us this far into the show, we very much appreciate it. Make sure you are, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. We very much appreciate it. If you can comment, do everything you want. That's what we're here for, folks. So hope you enjoyed our week 13 show. I'm going to quit talking because we're just wasting time here. So for Jeremy, myself, for Essie and Aaron, I hope y'all enjoy your holiday if we don't talk to you then. And yeah, we'll see you later on this week. So have a good week, folks. Listen up.